Hope you enjoy watching DiscoverJOY.
Lately, it feels like we jumped straight from summer to winter in no time. So I pulled out my old Harabuna fishing gear from about 30 years ago. I've decided to start fishing again, and I'm slowly gathering the tools I'm missing. This time, for my DIY project, I'm making a fishing platform with a built-in chair, what we call a haradai in Japan. I'll also make a rod rest for baiting, a V-shaped rod tip holder, and polish up my old float case. Harabuna fishing is a traditional Japanese style of crucian carp fishing. The fish, called harabuna, has a flat body and gives a nice, strong pull, though not as wild as a carp. It's mostly done in ponds and lakes, using a long bamboo or carbon rod, a float, and a 2-hook rig. The bait is a kind of dough made from dango, or gluten mix. The key is to watch the float carefully and strike at the perfect moment. It's a delicate, mindful type of fishing. What makes Harabuna fishing so special is the calm, that quiet connection with nature. It's all about fine-tuning your gear and your bait to find your own perfect style. In short, it's a game of patience, reading that tiny movement of the float. For the past 30 years, every time I saw a forked branch, I thought, that'd make a perfect rod holder. And now, I'm finally making one, a dream 30 years in the making. I'm using recycled materials, synthetic leather, cords, and cushions from an old sofa, some branches from my relative's garden, and even a table from my old office. I only have 2 floats, so I'll need to get more, and I'll clean up my float case too. I'll cut the platform so the legs fit where the screw and nuts are already set. The platform size? I'll just eyeball it using some store-bought ones as reference. I'm rounding the corners using my favorite bottle cap, classic trick, right? Then sanding the edges smooth so I don't cut my thighs when sitting. I might add a parasol later, so I made it a bit larger just in case. Measured to match the length from my knee to the ground. I'll also account for the leveling bolts and seat cushion thickness in that leg length. These leveling bolts were something I bought when I first got into DIY. Back when I thought, just buy whatever looks useful. Now they're finally getting their moment. I'll use them for the 4 legs. These 4 branches will be the legs. The seat height is about 45 centimeters, so the legs will be around 30 centimeters long. But the leveling bolts from the sofa don't fit the holes directly. Gotta come up with a different way to mount them. I'll use hanger bolts and insert nuts for the legs. The float case gets a good sanding too, looking fresh already. Oh, and this little wooden frame here? That'll be used in a later DIY project. My classic hole filling trick, wood glue mixed with sawdust. Time to raid the recycle box. And yes, found them. These 4 metal fittings used to hold the legs of a kotatsu table, and they fit perfectly. Now I need a support board for the rod holder vise, so I'll attach that first to the platform. Cut the corners smooth. And use the black screws I had left from my last project, the console table, #18. Drill pilot holes first and countersink them nicely. Alright, that looks solid. Next, I'll cut 4 triangular pieces from this wood to mount the leg brackets. Drill the center holes first for the hanger bolts. The wood smells great, like hinoki, Japanese cypress. Apply glue. Position carefully so the screws don't hit the fittings, and tighten them down. Drill pilot holes in the legs for the hanger bolts. When screwing in hanger bolts, I use 2 nuts locked together. Turn the top one, and the bolt drives perfectly straight into the wood. Now I'm trimming all 4 legs to the same length. The leveling bolts I showed earlier will go right here. This is where I'll sit, holding the rod with my left hand, waiting for the fish. I'm going to make a rod rest using this branch, something to hold the rod while I watch the float. I'll make it so it plugs right into this spot. Usually, the hole above the rod clamp is for that, but I find it harder to strike quickly from there, so I'll make mine just below the clamp on the left side. Honestly, I rarely use the top rod rest, but hey, having 2 won't hurt, right? Let's go double style. Next up, let's make sure my butt doesn't hurt after hours of fishing. I'll make a seat cushion for the platform. I thought about attaching the cushion directly, but I want to hide the seams of the synthetic leather, so I'll make a separate seat board instead. I'll use this made in Canada board. Fancy, right? For mounting, I'll use insert nuts and bolts again. Oh, and the bolts? They're recycled from a nursing toilet chair. After drilling pilot holes, I attach a bolt and a regular nut to help the insert nut screw in straight. I'll use 4 insert nuts so I can remove the cushion anytime. Works perfectly every time. Then I drill 4 holes in the platform so the cushion can be bolted from below. This way, if it ever gets dirty or torn, it's easy to replace. I remember when I took apart my old sofa, the cushion had several layers. So I'll copy that idea. A firm layer glued to the board first, then a softer cushion on top. It should prevent sliding too.
Nice.
Now, I'll place something heavy on it and leave it overnight. The next day, I found this cute little branch on the ground. Looks perfect for a rod rest tip holder. So I'll carve it into shape, just the way I like. When you're creating something from your heart, even the smallest project can bring joy. Let's check on the cushion board. Oh yes, it's nicely attached. Time to wrap it with synthetic leather. Normally you'd stretch it tight and staple it with a staple gun, but I'll go easy this time. Just screw it down gently. DIY or dessert? The glue's starting to look like whipped cream. And when cutting the leather, don't pull too hard. You'll get a cleaner edge that way. And here it is. The seat board is done. I tried sitting on it, holding the rod, waiting for the float to move. Got one. Feels amazing. I could do this all day. Next, I'll make a backrest with a cushion. After some thought, I decided to keep it simple. Just drill 2 holes in the platform and insert the poles. I'll carve this branch, cut it in half, and use both pieces as the backrest poles.
Oh no.
But it cracked. That hurts. Okay, let's reset. Since the backrest needs to support my weight, I'll switch to a thicker piece of wood. And look at this. The rod holder cracked too. Yeah, that's what happens when I get lazy. But no worries, plan B. I rebuilt it so it can be slotted in securely. One of my special skills, I guess. I want the backrest to lean slightly backward, so I'll cut both poles at the same angle. Then, just like the seat board, I'll glue and wrap the cushion with leather. To match the platform, I'll paint the sides white and coat the backrest poles too. Done. Looks great. For the rod holder, I'll make a longer insertion stick to match the backrest poles. Attach the cushion with 4 screws. Then drill 2 holes in the platform for the backrest poles. Adjust the pole thickness so it fits snugly. And now, I'll make another stick for the rod rest mount. Everything's almost done and looking clean. Time for some paint. Once I drill the hole for the rod rest and fit the stick, that's it, project complete. I'll be using this DIY fishing chair in my upcoming Harabuna fishing video, so stay tuned for that. I even carved a little notch in the rod rest for that moment when, fish on. Get ready. Can't wait to see my rod sitting right here. Guys, smash that subscribe button. Thanks for watching DiscoverJOY.